cat there, and maybe you can see it. I'm trying to show you.
It's so small. I don't think anybody can see it. That's why.
You're welcome to walk up here and see it. Look.
Here, let me just hand out a couple and y'all look at them.
Okay.
Now remember, this is a concept. This is not a final design
This is
plan,
a-
and it has not been submitted for final approval.
This is already developed. This is already developed. This is
Right, that's right. So they're gonna be on the ground. All of that. This is where that sign is. So they'll be just out this way.
trying to figure it out.
Hold on, I gotta figure this out. You can't see it like that. You know it's not. Oh, right. We're talking about all of these lots. But these lots that have big rate. Here's the thing. They're gonna do the cash study.
Oh, we have.
Wait, I can make some more.
Okay, there we go. Oh, just go ahead.
Does anyone else have any additional questions?
One other thing. Yeah, just, the main thing I'm concerned, and I haven't really studied the map yet, but the main thing I would be concerned with, getting back to the problem with cars in the road, would be at the entrances, you know, at least however far you determine, a block, 2 blocks back, those houses be R1, so there would not be so many cars where people are first coming into the subdivision and trying to get out of the subdivision. You know, just as purely as a safety thing. Yeah, that would require a little bit more examination of those lots.
The developer local?
Yes.
Yeah, because Dunbar has, 41 has always been a dangerous road. Has always had a lot of risk in that way on it. And Dunbar and 41, right at that corner, right there, people don't know to go left or right, they just go straight across the road and run into that lady's fence and just damage her fence, always. They go straight across the road into somebody else's property. So, yeah, this is a lot.
As the developer, would you be interested in hearing some of these concerns and listening, taking some of these concerns back to you?
This dangerous.
And I appreciate the feedback on everything to do with the density. Our main concern is quality and customer satisfaction. And I know, you know, when they say cars on the road and everything, I know that can be an issue. We apply real strict covenants. We're different, you know, when it comes to that. We're watching our neighborhoods all the time adequately because I don't like that kind of stuff to happen either. We like to have a clean environment when we're building homes, when we've got people moving into our developments. We try to make sure all that's cleaned up. We are taking adequate measures to make sure we're doing the traffic studies and everything to abide by the county's regulations of that, and just kind of making sure through the whole process that, you know, cars are off the road. There's real strict covenants involved. There's only certain things that are going to be allowed in there. I know the neighborhood beside it, that was a concern, but that's something we do take very much pride in and make sure we put, kind of a strict wrap around everything to ensure that it's done the right way and it's done real quick.
Homeowners association?
Sir?
Will you have a homeowners association?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. It's got that. It's got an adequate mailbox system in it where you drive through to your mailbox. It's got a small playground. It has got a very strict HOA. You won't be doing things you normally see in places that don't have one established. The two entrance ways are both going to be established very well. They're not going to be like that little cut through segment, which everybody here kind of had, one gentleman had made a comment about. I know exactly what he's talking about. And I agree that's a very unsafe way to do things too, coming right off of that cut through. But with our two entrance ways, the way we're going to do them, there's going to be no reason where you should have any incidents there. But we're also going to do traffic studies, per the county to make sure all that is adequately taken care of as well.
It appears that the biggest concern is, or much of the concern is egress into and out of the subdivisions from, the main thoroughfares.
Yes, sir.
So my question for you was, would you be willing to listen to their concerns and maybe perhaps adjust your entranceways to accommodate?
Well, those are, the way I did that in the center part, those lots are actually wider than 60 foot on those. I know which ones you're talking about when you first pull in. Those are actually wider than 60 foot on that first stretch right there on the entranceway size. That's so you don't back out into anybody. That's so, people can see who's coming. They're bigger lots right there. Kind of the same way that they had, somebody proposed as well to make them a little bit larger. They're set up like that. Yes, sir.
And understand, Mr. Wingate doesn't dictate how the entrances and the traffic calming measures happen. That happened. The city and the county and the state to some extent because of Highway 41 will dictate how that will happen.
Right.
It's the Georgia DOT.
Yes,
I
sir.
just propose
DOT.
that as a gesture of kind of good faith for the.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Chairman, I will say that Mr. Ronnie Harold is here. He's a traffic engineer with Houston County. And he may speak on some of the egress, ingress.
Some of the concerns. Yes, sir.
Ronnie Hill, H-E-A-L-D. I'm county engineer for Houston County. Dunbar Road is county road, so they will have to go through and get an access permit from us, and we will require a traffic study to see decel lanes, left turn lanes, or anything of that nature will be needed. Our process is something that we mirrored from DOT, so they'll have to do the same thing for DOT for the 41 entrance. Just to let y'all know about the traffic going into and out of that subdivision will be looked at pretty good from the county and DOT.
So what considerations are taken in as far as that?
The developer will have to get his engineer to do a traffic study, letting us know how many cars come in and out, which is come down to daily traffic counts anticipated with that development being fully built. And then you look into engineering formulas and stuff that DOT's got to see if you require a left turn lane, decel lane, and stuff of that nature. So we review that pretty good. We're going to review that along with the water distribution. But again, that's probably not part of this. That's part of more of a design thing. But they'll be tying into county water also. So they'll have to do a water distribution study on that.
Thank you.
Anything else? I will say that the main reason I was asked to come from the county's end was the county had some concern about the density, and it sounds like y'all took care of that situation from the county's point. So, anything else?
Thank you.
All right.
I have another follow-up. I like what Mr. Wingate said about the homeowners association and the covenant. I don't know what type of timetable you're on to make a decision or to make a proposal. I like field trips. I would like to see some of the members ride through some of the subdivisions that they've already developed and take a look and make sure that things are adhered to as he indicated they are. That would be just a suggestion to the panel here.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend approval or denial. Do I have anybody that would like to initiate that?
You asking for a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make the motion that, we go from, the county's R2 to R1 to Centerville's R2 with the caveat on the end of it.
The condition.
Yeah, conditions.
I'll second that motion. Approved. Now, let me explain that approval a little bit. That, still got a long way to go. What we look at is to see if the criteria fits the situation for rezoning. Just because we'd agreed on it doesn't mean that it's cast in stone.
That's right.
Well, what we have to look at is to see if it meets the criteria put forth, based on the documents.
So it's my understanding, to clarify, Member Randall Wright made a motion to recommend approval of rezoning to city R1 with conditions on the 50 lots in the L shape that abut.
Correct.
The abutting county R1 would have to meet the requirements of R1 zoning, and all the other lots would have to meet the requirements of R2 zoning, specifically, of course, with lot size and such, but would be restricted to single family housing. And that was seconded by Member Michael Cohen, and the vote was unanimous to make that recommendation to Mayor and Council. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Mayor and Council will consider this recommendation and have another public hearing next Tuesday at 5 o'clock to consider the recommendation. At that meeting, it is on the agenda. There's a public hearing. Now, the mayor and council it will be reported to them what the concerns were. City of Centerville conducts a true public hearing. We haven't been having in-person hearings because of COVID. We thought we should do that and let you all come in. But what we would like to do is, we may have to meet over here if this number of people shows up instead of in the council chambers. But to the extent you're repeating each other, get together and let one person speak. If you all have the same concerns, that person can even say that. And, again, we don't limit our public hearings to citizens of Centerville, because obviously the people that are concerned about this are not currently citizens of Centerville, they're citizens of the county who live in the area. So I would just let you know, we will have that meeting. There will be a recommendation, a report on the recommendation made, and obviously the mayor and council will deliberate and consider the annexation rezoning.
Got a question. What is exactly the criteria for entrances, like in and out? Is there so many houses? Is there, what is?
Mike could probably.
Best thing to do is you can go online to unicode.com, unicode.com. Click on Georgia, click on Centerville. You go under building regulations, zoning regulations. You can read everything we got, every code,
All the requirements.
everything that's required in different districts.
Like you were saying, the other subdivision, had all kind of issues with the in and outs and getting in there and out, so
That's close.
Yeah, is the meeting closed or?
No, it's not adjourned.
I just want to reiterate one thing, as Mike had said earlier, this board does not make decisions. All we do is make a recommendation based on the information that is provided. And we go through these steps and answer these questions if they follow the directive of the paperwork. And so we don't have a final say so. That'll be this information we passed on, and that decision we made at a later date by a different group of people.
This meeting is not unlike most other planning and zoning meetings where people are somewhat concerned with the zoning, but more concerned with what will actually be put on the property once it has been rezoned and is developed. And so it kind of gets a mixture of questions about what's this about the zoning, what's that about the zoning, into concerns about specific details about plan approval. That happens at the administrative level on the county, the state, and our director of operations. Like you said, you can look on Municode.com for the regulations, but you can also call and speak to the director of operations, Mr. Brumfield, as this process goes along, just for questions, what's going on here, has there been a decision made about entrances, exits, and I would encourage you just to continue to follow the process and feel free to call.
Does anyone have any additional questions? In that case, I'd like to adjourn our meeting. Thank you for coming and meeting with us tonight.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it.